Hello and thank you for joining me today on The Political Conversationalist. My name is Ben Phipps and we're still talking about divisive issues. Today we're talking about one that is more divisive, I think, than most things being talked about by politicians right now. We're going to talk about Obamacare. Now, Obamacare is officially called the Affordable Care Act, and it was designed to ensure more Americans and to increase the health of America as a whole. But it had lots of detractors and lots of opponents and lots of people who pointed out bad faults in the bill itself. And I'm going to examine some of the good reasons, the positive impacts, some of the bad impacts, and I'm going to weigh in with my own opinion at the end if that interests you. So the first thing that is good about Obamacare is that 16 to 20 million more people are covered under Obamacare than would have been without it. So lots of people who did not have health insurance now do have health insurance, and of course that is a good thing. It makes health insurance more affordable for them. It makes care more accessible for them. So that's a good thing. Now this is something that could, depending on who you are, could be bad or good. But one of the positives people say is that insurance companies can no longer deny or charge people more for health insurance if they have a pre-existing condition. Should you have congenital heart failure or something like that, you can still shop for insurance and you will get it at the same rate as someone who is your age and relative health, barring your illness. Also, Obamacare introduced laws that made a max out-of-pocket cost. For instance, you'll have a max yearly cost of, like, say, $7,500. And if you pay more than that, your insurance company has to pay the rest of that for that calendar year. And one of the other things that is supposedly good about it is the more comprehensive coverage, whereas every plan has to include things like maternity coverage and paternity coverage and specific things that in 15, 20 years ago you could decide whether you wanted those options or not. Now most of the plans are going to cover those things. The people who are against it were mainly mad about the mandate. The mandate has since been repealed and will no longer be in effect after 2018. But the mandate was a hefty tax fine if you did not have health insurance. And I don't really understand how anyone thought that would get public support. Most people saw it as a government overreach. Most people saw it as them trying to tell us what to do with our personal lives. Deductibles went way up. Deductibles are the amount of money per insurance claim you have to pay out of pocket before your insurance will start covering things. For instance, if you go to the doctor and get some x-rays, say it's $1,000. If your deductible is $500, you'll pay $500 and your insurance company will pay the rest. If your deductible is $900, you'll pay $900 and your insurance company will pay the rest. If you have a deductible that's greater than $1,000, as most nowadays are, you'll pay everything out of pocket. And also, coverage cost has dramatically gone up. I can see this in my own insurance. I can see this in my parents' insurance. Everyone I've talked to about insurance costs has said, since these laws have come into effect, the cost of insurance that we pay, and most people are insured through their employer, has gone up, and the cost to the employer has gone up as well. They are mainly, I believe it's bad. I believe it's a good idea, but bad in execution. It's a good idea to want more people to have health care. It's a good idea to want a healthier populace. It's a good idea to not want to deny people health coverage because of their financial situation. But there are some, in addition to the bad things I've already outlined, there are some other bad things about it. First off, all these good things, supposedly good things, have charged the insurance companies more. For instance, the no more denying a person with a pre-existing condition. In times past, if you had stage 4 lymphoma, you could not go to an insurance company and get an insurance policy. They wouldn't insure you because you're too much of a risk, but now you can. So what happens is they pay their monthly fee or weekly fee or however with their pre-existing condition, and the insurance company has to spend more money on them than they are paying in. And to make up for that, they have to charge healthier people more to make it balance out so that they have enough money to meet their profit margins, to pay their employees, and to pay off the medical bills of people who in times past they would not have had to insure. Also, the max out-of-pocket cost has increased the insurance company's own cost, because now if you have a major surgery that's $30,000, $40,000, then you will pay that year your max cost, which is still a lot, like $7,500, I believe, in a lot of cases. then they'll have to pick up the rest of the bill. Whereas in times past, you would pay up to your deductible, they would pay a percentage of it, and then whatever was left you would pay on like a payment plan like you would a car or house. So in most circumstances where it has been good, the charges have been placed on the insurance companies. Now the insurance company can only make money one way, and that's by selling insurance. And if they can't increase the number of people buying insurance, they can increase the price of insurance, and that's what they have. Deductibles have gone through the roof. Back when I was a child, I remember we had a deductible, it was super low. It was like $400 or $500. My deductible now is, if I remember correctly, close to $3,000. So unless I have a medical expense on a single insurance claim that is above $3,000, I will be required to pay it off entirely out of my own pocket. So although it's good in theory, in practice it ends up making me pay more, making the average person pay more, and it's only good for those the minority of people who are with those pre-existing conditions and don't already have health care when they find out they have them. That's a very small percentage of the population. If you have health care and you develop a condition like congenital heart failure or something like that, they can't drop you. They can't jack your rate. But for you to be able to go and get the same price as me, a relatively healthy non-smoker, just slightly overweight, slightly out of shape, 21-year-old man, and you are a 65-year-old man with lung cancer, and we get the same rate, obviously what I'm paying in is going to help you. And that's raised the cost for everyone. Another thing I would like to point out is that it massively expanded Medicaid in the states that accepted it. Medicaid now covers, it's like 137, 138% of what's considered the poverty line. Those people are now applicable for Medicaid. And Medicaid, of course, being the federal government's insurance for the impoverished people. And the federal government spends a lot of money on Medicaid. They spend, according to one study in 2017, $574 billion on Medicaid. And it's expanded and is continuing to expand as we speak, really, because of the Affordable Care Act, because of Obamacare. And that is just adding to our already massive $21 trillion debt. So I don't really believe that it's a great idea to continue to have this Obamacare in place. I believe a much more affordable way would be able to sell insurance across state lines. There's not, in North Carolina, for example, there's only one insurance company, one health insurance company. It's called Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. For some reason, the laws are set up that I can't buy insurance from an insurance company in South Carolina or Washington or Washington, D.C. or Hawaii or whatever. I have to buy from North Carolina. So the entire state of North Carolina and everybody who works in it is insured by the same company. That's a monopoly. And if you watch my capitalism video, you learn that monopolies are bad for the economy, because when a certain organization or company has a monopoly over a good or a service, over a certain demographic, they can charge whatever they want to, and they can lower their quality as much as they want to without any repercussions. I mean, what am I going to do? I have to have insurance, right? So I think it would be a much more reasonable offer, a much smarter tactic to go ahead and allow insurance to be sold across state lines, so that I could buy cheaper insurance and buy it from Hawaii or Washington, D.C. or Virginia or whatever, and also allow less comprehensive coverage, so I could specifically ask to get, just like on like a car insurance, I can get the plan that best suits me. On car insurance, you can get liability, you can get full coverage, but you don't have to have anything unless the car is not technically owned by you. But most of us have liability because liability is the cheapest. Now, I would like to have a health insurance that is cheaper to pay weekly, because very rarely do I use my health insurance. I'm a very healthy guy. My wife's very healthy. Of course, she's pregnant, so we are using it more than normal. But I very rarely use health insurance on a day-to-day basis. So why would I want to pay an exorbitant amount of money for health insurance that I rarely use? Anyway, that's my thoughts on the topic. If we could sell it across state lines, if we could have our individual customizable plans and not comprehensive plans, and if we stop requiring insurance companies to take unnecessary risk and drive their prices through the roof, then I think Obamacare would be better if it was done away with. Anyway, I hope you learned a little something today. If you did, be sure to comment, leave a like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. If you have a long question, you can always go to my Facebook page through the link in the description and email me through there. Thanks for watching.